Hey guys, Chef Jason, your Ace Hardware grilling expert. Today is all about chicken thighs on the Big Green Egg. We're gonna give it that beautiful, bold charcoal flavor, but we're gonna be talking about bone-in versus boneless because we wanna help you figure out which is the best because we've got great time-saving tips for you, good recipe tips, and some great cooking tips as well. So before we dig in and talk ingredients, let's get out and get that Big Green Egg all fired up. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's get cooking. Okay, so the first thing we did is we went ahead and stirred it with our ash tool to get that charcoal all set and ready to go. Then we refreshed it with a nice new pile of charcoal on top. Now, like I always do, I'm gonna make that little well in the center that I like because today we're gonna go ahead and light this dead in the middle with our EGGNiter, get that all set, ready for us to do some amazing cooking. Well, as you can see, we've got a nice strong fire going. We put the grill grate back on. We went ahead and brushed it all clean and ready. So we're gonna be holding today at 450 degrees. I've got the screen fully closed. I've got the vent about half closed or half open, depending how you look. Come up top here, let's show you what we're doing on the top vent. Our goal is 450 degrees, so we're gonna leave this open about 3/4 of the way to really let that heat start building up. And then as the temperature gets closer into that 400, 450 degree range, we'll adjust this down kind of in micro adjustments to hold it. So when we come back and get cooking, we'll show you that final adjustment. Okay, ingredient-wise today is gonna be easy once again because really today we're focusing more on cook times, cook skills, all those types of things. So we're gonna start off with our cluck rub. That's gonna give you that beautiful balsamic chicken finish, have a little bit of that canola oil. Then as we always say, you guys, the #1 tool you need when it comes to barbecuing and grilling is right there. That is that thermometer. You need a great thermometer to really help you focus on getting your temperatures dialed in and correct. So we'll focus on that Big Green Egg thermometer as well. Now, here's the star of the show today, the chicken thighs. So as you can see, we've got bone in right here, right? So you can see it's a little bit thicker. It's bound up a little bit more and it's got that bone right in the center, right? So that is gonna actually take a little bit longer to cook. This is gonna take maybe 50% longer to cook because you're gonna need to heat that bone up and get that bone nice and hot to really get everything cooked. Now, I do think it's gonna be a little bit juicier, but keep in mind, we're also cooking dark meat today, which is always juicy to begin with, but I think the bone-in is gonna give you a little bit more flavor, be a little bit more juicy. Now, look at this, boneless. So as you can see here, there's the bone-in, right here, and there's the boneless. So we're able to take a thigh now and make it a little bit flatter, which is going to give us a quicker cook time, about 50% faster. So you'll have to pick which you prefer. If you want a little bit juicier product, this is definitely gonna be great, that bone-in thigh, but if you want hot, fast, and instant food and instant tasty, that is gonna do a great job as well. We'll go ahead and show you real quick how we get these thighs seasoned. I always start with a little bit of oil. I just wanna coat the chicken. I don't want to have so much that we have any flare-ups, but remember, that oil is acting as a binder that's really gonna help that rub stick. We're using cluck today, which is our balsamic chicken rub. So we'll go ahead and get that all tossed in there. Now, what we're trying to do is just give this a good foundation of flavor. So always add more or less, really depending on what you prefer. Add a little bit more on top here just to kind of get that coated, but this is it. It's pretty simple, and I'm gonna do the same process as well with the bone-in. So we'll let these guys sit now for about 10 minutes or so while the Big Green Egg preheats, and then we'll be set and ready to go. All right, we're hovering right at 450, and you can see we've adjusted the top. We're about halfway open. So let's give it a burp real quick. We'll get this open. Now, as you can see, we light the fire right in the middle, right? That's gonna give us direct heat and indirect heat. So what we're gonna do first is, because the bone-in is gonna take a little bit longer, I'm gonna set those guys towards the center with that bone down just a little bit. Now, the beauty is, like I said, I have hot in the middle. I'm gonna be able to pull it back and go a little bit indirect. So we're gonna add these guys first. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna choreograph a little bit here. And we're gonna time it when we flip these guys, and we'll come back and we'll add the boneless. Okay, so we're starting to get a little bit of sear on there, right? Now what I'm gonna do is move these guys out a little bit. I'm gonna move them a little more indirect so we can get those cooking a little bit more evenly, but slow it down a little bit. Now here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna add the boneless chicken thighs right into the middle to get a nice sear as well. And then we'll do the same thing on there. We'll get that good sear, then we'll flip them over into that indirect part of the Big Green Egg, get these guys finished off together. Okay, so we give the Big Green Egg a burp. Now, look at this. Exactly what we were looking for. Starting to get a little bit of char. Now, there is a reason I started these on the meat side, so to speak, or the bone side, is I wanted to get that cooking process started. I want to get these going and I didn't want that skin to render off or burn too fast. So now we're gonna flip them over, let them go on that skin side, and you can see here's all the bone in, here's all the boneless, but look what we've done. We are indirect, so we're not right over the fire. So now, we'll go ahead and let them cook on this side until they're done, and basically we're gonna try to choreograph these all together. This is now right after that initial 5 minutes, so we've got about 5 minutes left on these guys, and we'll check those for temperature here when we come back. All right, here we are right at that 8-minute mark, and I'll tell you, these guys are gonna finish, right like we said, about 10 minutes, 11 minutes. The beauty is 50% faster cook on the boneless versus the bone in. We went ahead and flipped the bone in back onto the bone side to get these all ready, and we'll let them go. We're probably gonna let these guys go for another 10 minutes, and we're gonna be right at about 20 minutes and about 10 or 11 minutes on here. When it comes time to check the temp on the bone in, super important tip. Make sure you are not on the bone when you check temperature, because you definitely don't want to get a false reading. So these are right at about 150 degrees. We're in a really good place, so we'll go ahead and leave them. We've got probably another 5 minutes, and then we should be set. 20 minutes, we are done. Bone-in chicken thighs took right at that 20-minute mark like we thought, and there you have it. Well, just as we thought with our chicken thigh experiment today, about 11 minutes on those boneless chicken thighs and right at about 20 minutes on the bone-in. And obviously, size is going to determine if they take longer or less, right? The bigger those chicken thighs are, they take a little bit longer. So plan accordingly depending on size. Now, we didn't finish them with anything today. We didn't glaze them, but you could definitely use your favorite barbecue sauce, honey, anything that you want to finish them. We just used that cluck rub, kept it nice and simple. Now, let's dig in here. We're gonna cut into these guys, show you kind of what they look like on the inside, how juicy they are. Okay, here we are in that boneless chicken thigh. Look at that. Fully cooked, beautiful, juicy, dark meat. Definitely something that you're gonna be able to celebrate and enjoy pretty nicely. Look at that. Absolutely amazing. You got that beautiful dark meat in there. Now, let's move into the bone-in chicken thighs. I like to cut right around the bone on there. Now, I will tell you this. There is a chance you're going to get a little bit of pink on the bone. Totally normal. You don't want a lot. A little bit of color is fine, but look at that. Those thighs are definitely ready. So here we have the bone-in. Here we have the boneless. Two fantastic options. Nice and juicy, nice and tasty. Not a bad experiment at all. The Big Green Egg delivered just fantastic chicken today. And one of the reasons we cooked at that 450 degrees is we wanted to make sure these were juicy, delicious, but we also could get a little bit of that nice hot fire in the middle to get some sear, and then a little bit of indirect on the side to finish them. Now, half the cooking time for boneless that it took for the bone-in, but they both delivered an exceptional product. Now, if you're new to the Ace Hardware YouTube channel, don't forget to click subscribe, click on those post notifications so you'll be notified when all of our videos go live. And then, like we always say, be sure to leave your questions and comments below, because someone asked us, what is the difference between bone-in and boneless chicken thighs? How do they cook differently, and what do they look like? And that leads us always to some amazing things. So leave your questions and comments down below. Well, we showed you chicken thighs on the Big Green Egg, and coming up at the end today, we've got some more fantastic videos for you as well. So be sure to click on those and enjoy your cooking adventures on the Ultimate Cooking Experience. Hey, I'm Chef Jason, your Ace Hardware grilling expert. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We appreciate the opportunity to cook with you. I saved a little bit of the bone-in sample, but I also have some of the boneless as well. Time for quality control. Cheers. Yeah.